Welcome, crypto fam. Good morning. What it do? In today's show, we're going to be discussing the first weekly death cross ever, as well as the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week. Also in today's show, Paxos to stop minting BUSD stablecoins for Binance, SEC lawsuit against Paxos over BUSD, baffles the crypto community. We'll also be discussing the SEC's crypto staking crackdown has uncertain consequences for decentralized finance. Also in today's show, Bitcoin could hit $10 million per coin in 9 years, but more sidechains are needed, according to the Blockstream CEO. That's right, if Adam Back and Hal Finney's 10 million price prediction were to come true, the Bitcoin market cap would be approximately $200 trillion. Send it. Also in today's show, Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki warns of a giant crash incoming and forecasts Bitcoin price explosion to $500,000. Quoting him here, giant crash coming, depression possible, Fed forced to print billions in fake money by 2025, gold at 5,000, silver at 500, and Bitcoin at $500,000. Why? Because faith in the US dollar, fake money will be destroyed. Gold, silver, God's money, people's money. Take care. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Welcome everyone tuning in to pod episode number 1193. I'm your host, JV. Welcome to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. A lot going on, so let's dive in and check out crypto currently correcting. As you can see here, we got Bitcoin down 1.6% for the day, trading above $21,600. As you can see, all the major cryptos currently correcting and in the red as well. BNB down a whopping almost 8%, trading at $290, and ETH down 3.68%. Trading back under $1,500. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we can see the current crypto market cap finally back under that $1 trillion milestone. Not a good sign, with about $57 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with a Bitcoin dominance at 41.9% and the Ether dominance at 18.2%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we have BNX up 16%, trading at $168, followed by CVX up 7.5%, trading at $6.14, followed by Maker up about 7%, trading at $757. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we can see finally many are obviously back in the red. But we do have a handful in the green with massive gains, including BNX up 82%, BGB up 52%, and Baby Doge up about 30%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're still in neutral with a 48. Yesterday was a 50, dead in the middle. Last week a 56 in greed, and last month a 46 in fear. And welcome to everyone just tuning in to today's live show. We have lots to cover, so let's dive right into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and discuss the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week. Number 1, Bitcoin confirms a weekly chart breakdown around 21.8. The latest weekly close saw or had few surprises in store for those on either side of the Bitcoin trade. In its lowest since mid-January, the event sealed a long-awaited retracement for the King crypto after it spent January experiencing almost unhindered upward price action. We saw a price surge of roughly 40%, making January the best performance for the King crypto in the past decade. Quoting Crypto Tony, from there we can really assess whether the bulls have it in them to save the bears or lead them to the slaughter. And he's talking about the price action at 21,400, which we're on the cusp of right now. And zooming in, fellow account Dan Crypto Trades, he noted Bitcoin sat between the 200-day period and 400 period exponential moving averages on the 4-hour time frames. Quoting him here, it looks like we'll open up with a small gap below us as we speak, and overall just a choppy weekend for Bitcoin with some alts popping. That's right. Meanwhile, a more formidable line in the sand comes in the form of the 200-day moving average. While still at 20,000, the level is now important for the bulls to remain control, as pointed out here, shared earlier in the Bitcoin report. But key points, we got the weekly OB, January high taken, high time frame, FVG's drawing price. We have the 200 moving average lining up with the prior consolidation. Let's see how the market sentiment opens. Plans for both, but favoring the pullback. And this is coming from analyst BC Richfield. And Rec Capital, he flagged 21.8 as the point of interest. He said that a weekly close below this would confirm the breakdown in Bitcoin, a move that ultimately came true. That same level acted as resistance several times since the middle of the year. So there you have it. Now for the next factor to keep your eyes out on this week is the most important CPI print a rise, which is due for tomorrow on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Bets are on for inflation continuing to decline and a move that could still buoy risk assets despite a come down in early February. Quoting analysts right here, both the bulls and the bears need to report to go their way. Whichever side is right will drive the market for the next month, but will this time be different? That's the million-dollar question. Now, for the third factor to keep your eyes out on this week is the first ever weekly death cross, sparking concern right now. That's right. This month, Bitcoin is caught between two crosses in a curious scenario, dividing opinions about its significance. A golden cross on the daily timeframes is combining with a death cross on the weekly chart. The latter is the first of its kind for Bitcoin, but death crosses on other timeframes have often preceded significant price downside. So whether the daily golden cross will repeat historical patterns and buoy the market remains to be seen. But in the meantime, another brand new cross is taking place. As senior analyst Qubit Analytics points out, noted that Bitcoin's one-year exponential moving average is about to drop below its three-year counterpart for the first time in Bitcoin history. Quoting him here, this crossover has never happened before, highlighting the severity of the Bitcoin bear market. And quoting another analyst here, considering that we've never seen the signal until now, the implication is that the one-year trend might stay below the three-year trend even longer. And he said that the two-year EMA might also end up crossing below the three-year EMA, which would likewise constitute a first of its kind event. Quoting him here, personally, I wouldn't be surprised if that occurs within the next 6 months as a result of further sideways action or downward consolidation, the analysts forecast. Now for the fourth factor to keep your eyes out on this week, the whales are staying engaged. That's right. Bitcoin dipped down to 21.6 on Sunday, and whale addresses responded by transacting at their highest rate in 3 months. As Santiment points out here, their contributor, Sander King, called the whale moves significant, and a snapshot of the order book activity at Binance showed the presence of a major whale entity on February 12th, along with new sell wall at just above 22,000 on the weekly close, which you can see right there. And regardless of how high the Bitcoin bulls can push before the Wall Street closed and open, expecting the death cross to have an adverse impact on short-term upward momentum. And now for the fifth and final factor to keep your eyes out on this week, hodlers bounce back to health. That's right, where my long-term hodler is at, make some noise. According to on-chain analytics firm Glassnode, long-term hodlers have been accumulating new positions in particular over the past month. I know I am one of them. Its hodler net position change metric hit a 3-month high on February 13th, marking a return to hodling behavior not seen since the FTX debacle. Quoting the week on chain, assessing the long-term hodler cohort, we can observe a persistent regimen of sustained losses since the Luna collapse. And despite this cohort continuing to take losses over the last 9 months, there are initial signs of recovery with a potential uptrend for the long-term hodler SOPR starting to form. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this latest technical analysis. And are you pretty pumped up for what's to come later this week? Hopefully we get some bullish news with the CPI, but at the current moment, things aren't looking so great. But let's discuss what everyone's talking about right now, and that's the SEC going after Paxos with a big lawsuit and all of the information with them no longer being able to mint BUSD, which may be probably why BNB has seen a massive correction on the day. But let's break this down, shall we? Blockchain infrastructure platform Paxos Trust Company will halt the issuance of new Binance BUSD stablecoins amid the ongoing probe by New York regulators. Paxos officially announced February 13th, which is today, that the firm would end its relationship with Binance for the branded US dollar peg stablecoin BUSD. Starting from February 21st, Paxos will stop minting new BUSD tokens in accordance with directions and coordination with the New York Department of Financial Services. Paxos emphasized that all existing BUSD tokens will remain fully backed and redeemable through Paxos Trust Company until at least February 2024. Customers will be able to redeem their funds in US dollars and convert their BUSD tokens to another Paxos issued stablecoin, Pax Dollar, which is USDP, the firm stated, adding the following: this action does not impact our ability to continue serving new or existing customers, our continued dedication to grow our staff, or fund our business objectives. Paxos remains committed to becoming the global leader in the blockchain tokenization infrastructure. Now, Paxos also noted that Paxos Trust is a regulation institution overseen by the NYDFs and audited by top 4 accounting firm, referring to public transparency reports. The firm will continue to maintain its strong regulatory capital and operate USDP as well as its gold-backed stablecoin, Pax Gold, which is PAXG. Now, the Binance CEO also took to Twitter on Monday to report that the exchange was informed by Paxos that they have been directed to seize new BUSD by the NYDFS. The CEO stressed that the stablecoin is issued and managed by Paxos, implying that there are no issues between Binance and regulators. Interesting, right? Now, as a result, BUSD market cap will only decrease over time, CZ noted. Now, BUSD is the 7th largest crypto by market cap at the time of this recording, with a market cap of $16 billion. The token is slightly down from its dollar peg, trading at roughly 99.8 cents, which is not unique for many other reserve stablecoins, as their value sometimes fluctuates between 90 cents and $1.20. The news comes shortly after the NYDFS abruptly ordered Paxos Trust to stop the issuance of BUSD on February 13th. Previously, the United States SEC issued a notice to Paxos, reportedly alleging that BUSD is an unregistered security. That's right, the crypto crackdown continues. Now let's discuss the Paxos SEC lawsuit a little further in more details. That's right. Paxos Trust Company issues stablecoin BUSD. Being in the sights of the United States regulators sparked various reactions by the crypto community. So let's see what people have to say. Crypto analyst Miles expressed his thoughts in a tweet, arguing that nobody expects profit when purchasing a stablecoin. He tweeted, the SEC had labeled BUSD as an unregistered security and is suing its issuer, Paxos. But how on earth is a stablecoin considered a security when it clearly doesn't meet the Howey test criteria? I think he makes a great point. No one has ever had the expectation of profit when buying USD. That goes for all stables, doesn't it? And similarly, another trader, Tree of Alpha, was baffled by the new development. The community member questioned how it was considered a security and asked their followers if they were buying BUSD with the expectation it would go to $2. The trader also called out the SEC chairperson, Gary Gensler, and said that the government official is also an unhinged, unchecked crusade against crypto. Facts, preach. Meanwhile, iTrader also commented on the matter and dismissed the issue as FUD, fear, uncertainty. That's right, and doubt. The trader argued that BUSD is fully backed, and Paxos not issuing any more tokens will not affect the existing tokens. It is good to stay informed, but don't make emotional moves. They warn, don't worry about BUSD FUD. BUSD is not a scam token. It's backed by USD, 1-to-1. Paxos is not issuing any more BUSD. It will not affect the existing BUSD. It is good to stay informed, but don't make emotional moves. And Bitcoin analyst TED Talks Macro echoed the sentiment that BUSD might not be meeting the criteria for security. The analyst suggested that in the event, it may simply be a shot at Binance. I think he's right. What are your thoughts? And amid the news, Cointelegraph spoke with several blockchain lawyers to determine if the stablecoin can be securities. One lawyer pointed out that while stablecoins are created to have a fixed value, hodlers can profit through various means like arbitrage, hedging, and staking. Facts. So true. How do you think this is likely to play out and impact the greater crypto market as the crypto crackdown continues? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. And speaking about a crypto crackdown, let's dive a little deeper before we get into this $10 million price prediction by Adam Back, along with a $200 trillion Bitcoin market cap, as well as we discuss $500,000 Bitcoin price incoming as per Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki. Check it. A crackdown by the US SEC said that staking could be unintended. They could have consequences of a decentralized finance, according to the head of business development of Lido DAO, Jacob Blish, who leads business development at Lido's decentralized autonomous organization, told Bloomberg February 13th in a report that most significant risks would be if the SEC eventually concluded that no U.S. citizen can interact with crypto staking services, including protocols. Quoting them here, the biggest risk I personally see as a U.S.-based person is if they come down and say you can no longer even interact with or contribute to these types of protocols. Then me, a contributor to the DAO, does that mean I can't work on Lido anymore? Do I have to go leave and do something else? He added, the governance of Lido, managed by Lido DAO with members from all over the world voting on critical decisions that steer the protocol. In the wake of the SEC launching lawsuits and other enforcement actions against crypto firms, Blish joined a growing number of people in the crypto industry, calling for more transparency around regulations and rules going forward. You hear that, Gensler? Quoting him here, the most disappointing thing is that we see an industry that keeps getting asked for transparency, but then me as a U.S. citizen, I get no transparency in how regulators' decision-making process is going. Facts. I demand it as well. On February 9th, the SEC charged crypto exchange Kraken with failing to register the offer and sale of their crypto asset staking as a service program, prompting the exchange to halt offering staking to U.S. customers. I honestly hope, this is quoting the Kraken CEO Jesse Powell, I honestly hope that somebody proves in court that there is a legal, user-friendly version of custodial staking that can be offered to U.S. consumers. It'll be a brutal, lengthy, expensive fight. And a massive distraction, but the industry and the USA will be extremely grateful. Now, the SEC's latest action saw Coinbase co-founder and CEO Brian Armstrong defend staking on a February 9 tweet, saying it would be a terrible path for the U.S. if staking ban was to happen. And Coinbase chief legal officer Paul Grewal built on Armstrong's tweets February 10th, asking for clearer rules of the industry, quoting him here, "The public shouldn't have to parse complaints in federal court to understand what a regulator expects. Facts, ain't telling no lies." I agree 100%. And with that being shared, now let's break down this Adam Back massive projection of a Bitcoin market cap surpassing $200 trillion as well as $10 million per coin. Before we get into the latest from Robert Kiyosaki, Blockstream CEO Adam Back believes the price of Bitcoin could reach $10 million by the end of the sixth halving in 2032, as long as Bitcoin Layer 2 technology and wallet infrastructure improves. In a February 12th tweet in a thread, the Bitcoin Core contributor explained to his 500,000 followers under what situation Hal Finney's $10 million price prediction for Bitcoin could come true. Shout out to Hal Finney, rest in peace. Back noted that Bitcoin has doubled in it doubled in price year on year on average since 2013, and explained that if the trend continues, the Bitcoin price will reach $10 million per coin, along with a $200 trillion market cap in around 9 years' time. Send it. Quoting him here, earlier this year, I was curious of the claim, Bitcoin's 2x per year on average. It checks. The decade, January 2013 to December 2022, Bitcoin went up 2.036x a year. That's 1,200x in a decade. If that continues, we'll cross $10 million per Bitcoin and 200 trillion market cap by the end of the next two halvenings in about 9 years. And he actually breaks it down in great detail in this Twitter thread, which I'll include in the show notes below the video in the description. However, Back said that in order for that figure to be reached, improvements in Bitcoin Layer 2 technologies and wallet infrastructure needs to be fast-tracked to give time for these innovations to scale. Quoting him here, I think things will get interesting over the next two halvenings and fast. We don't have much time to scale tech. We need somewhere for the next billion users to own their own UTXO, their own keys, with censorship-resistant cold storage without weakening the main chain security. Back said it probably means side chains and drive chains as a trade-off, more lightning optimization. We don't have much time as tech takes time to mature, wallets interrogation. In responding to a comment, Back said he believes Bitcoin adoption hasn't reached the bottom of the S-curve yet, as only 1 to 2% of the world population has tapped into Bitcoin. He predicts more investors will begin to stack Bitcoin in cold storage wallets. As he shares here, given volatility, I think Bitcoin can overshoot widely and tap one of these $100 to $300 trillion market caps, correct, and then regain a steadier adoption over time. I suspect people with average entry points relative to then current price won't have much incentive to sell in size. And the CEO explained that part of the next wave of adoption may come from what he describes as hyper-Bitcoinization spurts, where people in hyperinflationary environments will rush to Bitcoin. Let's go. However, responding to another comment, Back admitted that we have utterly failed to financialize Bitcoin thus far. The cypherpunk suggests the Bitcoin could be used in mortgages where property is used as collateral and Bitcoin as interest. As shared here, the market in Bitcoin native financialization is immature, almost untouched. Bitcoin structured products, mortgages backed by real estate, but interest guaranteed by Bitcoin. Other products make Bitcoin easier to use for more people and match risk profiles, which creates more growth. Back added that in order to approach $10 million per coin, Bitcoin would also need to displace a significant proportion of store value, premiums, and bonds, real estate, gold, and stock portfolios. Quoting him here, you think Bitcoin Twitter is bullish? Hal Finney was calculating a Bitcoin price of $10 million per coin just 1 week after the Genesis block on January 3rd, 2009. Facts. I think this is pretty amazing. Let me know if you've had the chance to actually read through that thread and a prediction of a 10 million plus Bitcoin coming to fruition in the next 9 years. Do you feel this is likely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below, which takes us to our final story of the day. And that's Robert Kiyosaki coming out and predicting a $500,000 Bitcoin price by the year 2025. 2 years away. Could you imagine? Let's discuss it, shall we? Here we go. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Kiyosaki says investors should pay close attention to a wave of layoffs as tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and Amazon. He tells his 2.3 million followers he believes a major market crash begins this month of February, and he expects all assets, including gold and crypto, to initially plummet. Quoting him here, Silicon Valley's first dominoes to fall, laying off 144,000 in 2022, 66,000 more in 2023. Valentine's Day's massacre predicted by Stansberry Research. Everything will crash, including prices, gold, silver, Bitcoin. Do not panic. Good news, I will buy more gold, silver, and Bitcoin, real money with fake money. After all, Kiyosaki believes the Fed will be forced to print billions to prop up the markets, expanding the nation's debt and eroding the value of the dollar. He expects scarce assets like gold, silver, and Bitcoin to explode in value by the start of 2025. Quoting him here from a recent tweet, giant crash coming, depression possible, Fed forced to print billions of dollars in fake money by 2025, gold at 5,000, silver at 500, and Bitcoin at $500,000. Why? Because faith in the US dollar, fake money, will be destroyed. Gold and silver, God's money. Bitcoin, people's money. Take care. Facts. Now it's interesting because what is the gold price right now? Roughly 2,000. So he sees gold virtually doubling to tripling in value within the next couple of years. But do the math on Bitcoin, with the Bitcoin price currently hovering around 21,000 to go to 500,000. He's obviously most optimistic about Bitcoin. And what is the silver price right now? Someone please let me know, because I am curious, and we will discuss it in the live comments. But Kiyosaki, a part of his Bitcoin appeal is its relative safety from a regulatory perspective. While the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has many aspects of the crypto industry in its crosshairs, the agency has repeatedly stated that Bitcoin is not a security. And I repeat, Bitcoin is not a security. And now let's dive into the live Q&A. I'm going to read everyone's comments out loud. I appreciate everyone contributing in the live chat, each and every one of you. Coin Father, good morning. Ellen, Statwise, Janks, good to see you. Tough Cookie, Coin Father, Megadon, Bitcoin Trini, SpongeBob SquarePants, the one and only. Good to see the fam in the building. Fatima, good to see you. Seattle John, ESP, cheers fam. And I'm going to scroll to the very top. And Lawrence Abramoff, as always, I appreciate the super chat contribution. You're the man. Sailing with Twin says, good morning fam. Got technical problems. My internet connection is bad where I am. Hope I can see the show. I appreciate you tuning in regardless of the connection. You're the man. It's Bluntville time on the beautiful west coast of Florida. Good morning, y'all. That's what's up, Satwise Jank. Get it? Do what it do. Happy 420. I don't think it gets said enough how much we appreciate JV's daily shows, so much we start to wonder on the odd occasion when there is no show. I appreciate that, Lawrence. And as I mentioned, I'll keep the shows coming. Satwise says, since it's only fam here, I won't even read that one out loud, but massive congratulations on being a true Bitcoin OG and being the earliest adopter I'm aware of in this chat, getting started in 2013. What a blessing. Satwise says, one of my best friends, distinguished engineer at IBM, he mined 50 Bitcoin on Watson overnight, and he told me about it when it was only $20. I got in a few months later. Talk about spectacular timing. Mark Zellers, good morning, family. Always a pleasure. I appreciate you telling me about El Salvador. I'm glad you had a good time in El Zante. I'm absolutely looking forward to the day I can visit Bitcoin City and actually meet Max and Stacy for the first time. And if I can get an interview with Nayib Bukele, that would be like a dream come true. So I'm going to try to make it happen. And as you can see, the Bitcoin price action currently sitting just above 21,500. What are your thoughts surrounding a Valentine's massacre, as Stansberry Research predicted in the recent story I shared with you from Robert Kiyosaki? How low do you think the Bitcoin price can likely crash to if we do indeed actually crash further in the first place? Lawrence, yeah, man. Satwise, well, Watson was the first supercomputer that beat the Russian world champion chess master. I believe that was IBM's Big Blue. It's interesting because now I have the most advanced personal chess computer ever created, and it's this big. Remember back in the day, those things were bigger than like refrigerators, those supercomputers. Insanity. StatWise IBM Security hit him up a week later about how much energy Watson used overnight, and he told them he had a virtual reality program enter that got stuck with in a memory loop. Oh my God. I really wish how much actually totally lost is destroyed is known. That's right. We were earlier talking about how much of the Bitcoin supply is lost and gone forever. Just think people like Satoshi, over 1 million Bitcoin unmoved since the inception of the King crypto. There's probably, if I was to guess, 3 to 4 million Bitcoin lost and gone forever, which ultimately gives every long-term hodler a raise and makes the asset that much more scarce. You know what I mean? Crypto for Cardano, audit the SEC. Good morning, JV. Yeah, what an excellent chant. Audit the SEC. Audit the SEC. Such corruption, and it's a damn shame what they're doing to the crypto industry and stifling innovation right now. Good morning, Ellen. Appreciate you tuning in, fam, as always. Fatima, welcome. Hey, Justin, just passing by to send some love. I appreciate it, Fatima. You're amazing. Thanks for staying so committed to the journey. Come here for all my Bitcoin news updates. I appreciate your continuous support. Tough Cookie, always a pleasure. I'm back in Madison, says Coinfather, Wisconsin. Spent the weekend at Lake Superior. That's what's up. Satwise says, I hope the CPI print isn't a Valentine's Day's massacre. Me too. I hope the opposite occurs, and I hope we pump. But hey, sometimes we don't. And if it doesn't, keep stacking them sats is all I got to say. Dollar cost average. Ellen says Gensler's boss BlackRock wants all the retail out of Bitcoin, wants for the rich only. That's what SBF was about with Gensler. Facts. I agree 100% there. CoinDad, how was your trip? Says Ellen. Coinfather says, Ellen, great trip as it would be for a family emergency, but wasn't a fun trip. Well, I hope your fam is okay. The SEC and BlackRock are behind Gary Gensler. I agree 100%, Ellen. Tough Cookie says, Calvin A. Pop says the jab is one of his top 3 worst decisions. I'm also praying for him and praying for everyone who got coerced into taking that poison, deadly, toxic. It really saddens me, greatly saddens me. Much love to Van Day Pop. He's one of my favorite analysts. Satwise says, Coinfather, best for you and your fam. SpongeBob says, treat everything other than Bitcoin as a security until proven otherwise. Facts. Coinfather says, I told my wife once Bitcoin hits $1 million per coin, we will always fly first class. The older I get, the ducks are flying coach. Hilarious. Only one truth can send Bitcoin to $10 million. That's right. Megadon, good morning to you as well. I will hold my own Bitcoin partly at a price of $10 million per coin. You're all invited. That's what's up. Keep hodling strong. Hey, Pokemon, it's good to see you as well. Got some clarity on the gold price. Thank you, Jeff. Gold is $18.53. I would take it. That's for an ounce. And silver is only $21.87. So obviously, it looks like Kiyosaki is most bullish on Bitcoin, then silver, then gold. Let me know if that's accurate. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the insights. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. Wild. So SpongeBob says, if you have any concerns about ETH, it's done. ETH is more than 70% OFAC compliant. It is 100% captured in big institutions, and wealthy will determine its path. I mean, sad, but tends to be the reality. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But it makes Bitcoin that much more valuable to have true decentralization. You know what I mean? And still being a proof of work. Congress is making Gensler tell what he is doing with SBF. Good. I hope Gensler gets exposed and imprisoned for his corruption and collusion with SBF. You know what I mean? And I'm being 100% real. Something has to be done. You know what I mean? If you want investors and the entire market to respect the SEC, do the right thing and stop with the corruption already. Get Gensler out of there. They're just going to replace him with another corrupt suit. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We got to call out the frauds in the industry. We got to stick together. Treat everything other than Bitcoin as a security until proven otherwise. There you go. You know what I mean? Inevitable bond market failure will eventually pour trillions into Bitcoin. Hal Finney saw it. You know what I mean? Adam Back sees it. Max Kaiser sees it. Michael Saylor sees it. The question is, do you see it? You know what I mean? I feel it's inevitable as well. You got to think about the total addressable market is hundreds of trillions of dollars. Bitcoin is still in its infancy stage as of today. Right now, we're under $1 trillion. That means we have the potential to 100, 200, 300x from here and realistically see a $200 trillion market cap over the next decade. How can you not be bullish on Bitcoin? That, my friend, is the million-dollar question. As the dollar collapses and CBDCs are pushed, Bitcoin is going higher. I agree 100% with you, Ellen. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, they will use that to try to control us and lock us down. But for those of you who have the antidote, Bitcoin, good luck for them trying to control you. You know what I mean? It's our only way or path to freedom and sovereignty. You know what I mean? And I'm being real. All these exchanges have lots of lawyers, so playing dumb is an insult. This is how Gary sees it, says SpongeBob. Ellen says, yes, it's coming and special forces are going to step in when the dollar collapses. We will get that digital dollar in the form of the CBDC, only a matter of time. The question is, when will this roll out? When will it happen? I was seriously thinking about migrating to El Salvador, but their cannabis laws are unforgiving. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, for me to stay long-term in a place, medical cannabis is very important. I like it for natural health. You know what I mean? So are you saying they don't have favorable cannabis laws? That's very unfortunate to hear, but please break it down for me. Maybe I can do some more research and learn some more myself. Ellen says Costa Rica or Faroe Island. Where is Faroe Island? I've never heard of it. I've lived in Costa Rica. It was the first country I lived in outside of the United States. Spent a few years there. Love Costa Rica. I lived in Cocoa Beach. I lived in Punta Leona near Jaco Beach, and I believe that was Guanacaste province. I had a great time. Costa Rica is one of my favorite places as well. I hope they do more with crypto adoption out there. They also offer a lot of microclimates. So even though Costa Rica is like a tiny country, it's so diverse in culture and just like I said, the microclimates, you can experience it at all. I remember going to mountains and being above the clouds, and it was like godly. I remember visiting basically cheese farms in Terryalba, which was a great time, and getting some fresh cheese was amazing. A lot of good memories out there, so I think it's a great place. So tell me what Faroe Island is and where that baby is. Stack sats now to get a portion of wealth move before it moves to CBDCs. Facts. Come on, JV. 500,000, says Renee. Yeah, that's because Robert Kiyosaki is calling for it. And I'm sharing the news. Do I think 500,000 is very probable by 2025? No, but is it probable? Yeah. You know what I mean? I think more likely 100,000, maybe between 100 to 200,000 being bullish. But hey, anything can happen. I hope Kiyosaki is right. You know what I mean? But we shall see. Robert has a lot of hopium and gold and silver. There is no limit to gold and silver, says SpongeBob. Exactly. Bitcoin is the most scarce. Megadon says silver came ratio at Bitcoin. Pokemon says, hey, beautiful people. Pokemon, good to see you. Well, I'm out there. Satwise gold. Yeah, I appreciate those facts. That's right. Get your AR-15 before it's too late. Hilarious. I would rather die standing than on my knees. Ellen, I feel you where you're coming from, Pokemon. At the end of the day, micro factors will affect the price of Bitcoin. Well, everything affects it to some degree. You know what I mean? But the macroeconomic factors impact it as well. I mean, everything is impacting it. And right now we're below 21.5. Do you think 21.4 will hold us as support? Are you anticipating a St. Valentine's massacre to BTFD? Let me know, guys. Y says Aloha JV. Aloha. Appreciate you tuning in live. Gold hasn't changed much over the last 10 to 15 years. I know. Look at the gold chart for the price action in comparison to Bitcoin over the past decade. Bitcoin, parabolic. Gold, flatline, literally dead, right? And keep in mind that volatility equals life force, as Michael Saylor once said. Yeah, man, serious. I understand Ohio train wreck is another biohazard wreck. It's really bad. Animals are dying within 2 miles of the wreck. So sorry to hear that. That's tragic. Fever, oh yes, says, why don't you take a look at Real Fever, the best bear market builders? I never even heard of this. I guess it's an altcoin here you're promoting. Are you the creator of it? Let me know. Aloha JV, what's good, Crypto News Alerts fam? Appreciate you joining us live, eCoin. Appreciate that. Jeff says the 30-day high for silver is $24. Yeah. And the 30-day low is $21.95. I lived in Cocoa Beach and worked at Coconuts in the 80s. Small world, tough cookie. How cool is that? The one thing I miss the most about Costa Rica is just walking, like for example in Cocoa Beach, and just getting a fresh coconut from the vendor, putting a straw in it, having a grand old time. I miss fresh coconuts. I'm sick of the coconut water we got to buy from the grocery. I want the real thing, baby. It's nothing like the real thing. I miss me some fresh coconuts. And we had coconuts everywhere. Right outside my apartment building I was living at that time. This is way before the Bitcoin days. There was a huge coconut tree, mangoes, everything. And so you can just kind of like eat off the fruit of the land. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah, man. Basel should impact the precious metals. Mark says this is the BIS new standard on ETFs. When can we go? There was a guy on YouTube when Biden was installed wanting Americans and New Yorkers to move to an island by the Bahamas. I have to find him. Okay, so you're saying it's one of these Caribbean islands. Interesting. I'm just not too familiar with it. I miss coconuts too. Trinidad, have it. Nice. Yeah, man. Coconuts are the bomb diggity. Nothing like a fresh coconut. So refreshing, especially when you're actually thirsty, because it quenches your thirst, makes you feel so great. Space Oddity, good morning. He says Valentine's Day Massacre is based on a super high CPI. Let's see if the Joker is right. Yeah, we're going to find out by tomorrow. And what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? Any special plans? Let me know. Michael Saylor says to stick with Bitcoin, not alts. Facts. Michael Saylor. Yeah, so shout out to Michael Saylor. But nonetheless, with that being shared, now let's recap with is the big finish of what we shared here. In today's show, we discussed the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the first weekly death cross ever appearing on the weekly chart. We also discussed the latest with Paxos to stop minting BUSD stablecoins for Binance, as well as the SEC lawsuit against Paxos over BUSD, baffling the crypto community as the SEC crypto staking crackdown has uncertain consequences for DeFi. We also discussed, according to Adam Back, Bitcoin could hit $10 million in the next 9 years and surpass a $200 trillion market cap. We also discussed the latest from Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki, warning of a major crash incoming, a St. Valentine's massacre, and forecasting the Bitcoin price explosion to $500,000 per coin by the year 2025. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I look forward to seeing you on Valentine's Day tomorrow on